So the early hours of May the 8th, as the smoke from the Operation Sindoor still lingered, Pakistan launched a series of reckless attacks. Now, Pakistan reportedly has targeted multiple areas across the northern and the western sectors that include places like Awantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar in Punjab, along with Rajasthan and Gujarat. But India, of course, was ready. Every incoming missile and drone was reportedly neutralized. It was intercepted mid-air by the Indian Integrated Counter-UAS Grid and Air Defense Network. And not a single missile or Pakistani drone reportedly was successful in striking the targets. Earlier this morning, the Akashteer system was activated. The Akashteer system is India's very own indigenous iron dome that successfully thwarted the incoming Pakistani projectiles. The split-second reactions are critical in high-stakes air defense. Akashteer's fully automated data processing eliminates the need for manual data entry, saving valuable time that can actually mean the difference between neutralizing or missing a fast-moving aerial threat. Now, earlier in the day, as dawn broke, India had struck back with clinical precision. Air defense radars inside Pakistan, including a major system near Lahore, were reportedly identified and then neutralized. Now, India's message is clear. Respond in kind, stay within the domain and expect a proportionate blow. New Delhi has asserted that Operation Sindoor is a focused counter-terror campaign. India is making it clear that military targets have been avoided, civilian casualties have been prevented. But remember, military targets have been struck ever since Pakistan tried to strike 15 targets in India last night and early this morning. Now, speaking at a conclave, the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh praised the valour of the Indian Armed Forces and announced that a large number of terrorists have been killed in Operation Sindoor.
प्रेसिजन के साथ, जिस प्रेसिजन के साथ यानी जिस सटीकता के साथ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर एग्जीक्यूट किया गया, वह अनइमेजिनेबल है, बहुत ही सराहनीय है। इसमें 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स तबाह हुए और अच्छी खासी संख्या में आतंकी मारे गए।
The Indian Armed Forces have remained committed to a non-escalation. Let there be no mistake. If provoked, India will, of course, strike back pretty hard and with purpose.
Pakistan is also home to a very large number of UN proscribed as well as UN proscribed terrorists, as well as terrorists proscribed by a number of other governments in the world, including, of course, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed, as well as their leaders, Masood Azhar and Hafiz.
Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India using drones and missiles. These places included Awantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Nal, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Falodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj. These were neutralized by the integrated counter unmanned aerial system and other air defense systems. The debris of these attacks is now being recovered from a number of locations that prove the Pakistani attacks.
All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got former Deputy Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Subrata Saha, who's joining us live on the broadcast. Now, General Saha, the way things are panning out at the moment, it does look like we seem to be going up the escalatory ladder. In the aftermath of Operation Sindoor, Pakistan has chosen to specifically choose about 15 targets along the entire breadth of India's border with Pakistan, from Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, and try strike at military targets. This clearly points that Pakistan is not looking for a de-escalation, but is willing to go up. What's your assessment of this?
You see, firstly, thank you for bringing up this. In the very first message that got released on the night of Operation Sindoor, India had made it very categoric that we are striking at terrorist infrastructure, and it had made it very clear that we are not striking at military targets. Our missions are non-escalatory. This was a clear message to Pakistan that should you choose to retaliate, we will be compelled to strike at your military targets. Pakistan has chosen to come and attack military targets because it had the urge to retaliate. You see, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, in the wee hours of the morning after Operation Sindoor, had put out his response that we will retaliate.
Right.
Even though there was some kind of a ruse by the defense ministers to say that we want to climb down, provided India does all that is, ruse. We should not get carried away by that. And Pakistan, what options does it have to retaliate? Because India does not have terrorist camps like Pakistanis do. So they have done the obvious to come and hit at these air bases, which was listed out in the briefing that they have given. And it goes to the credit of our air defense system that they have been able to nullify all those attempts and hit back exactly at very precisely at these targets that were spoken about in the briefing, although they have not given out what exactly the target systems were. They are quite clear about the air defense system at Lahore. Quite interestingly, what we are hearing from what is coming out of Pakistan itself, from their ISPR and others, is Rawalpindi has been hit.
Right.
This is interesting, isn't it? Because Rawalpindi is what their GSQ is all about. The political capital of Pakistan is Islamabad, but Pindi, as they call it in short, is the GHQ, which is the ruling, the significant ruling power, if you will, of Pakistan. So the strike went to Rawalpindi and, of course, to Sialkot, and what we are hearing from open sources, the other one to Karachi. Karachi also is an important naval base. So, therefore, we have our forces have shown the ability to be able to penetrate Pakistan's air defense systems and go back and strike at targets well within Pakistan's border. So therefore, I think it is again another example of some very good, very precise targeting by our forces. And also I must highlight a brilliant example of coordinated attacks between our armed forces, as we can see unfolding over here.
Saha, if I can just ask you this, one of the things that Pakistan has been trying to show off in this escalatory round are the Chinese manufactured weapons that it has deployed. And the fact that the Indians have been, according to reports, been successful in taking down one of the most advanced air defense systems that the Chinese had given to the Pakistanis in Lahore, the HQ-9 system, with the Chinese claim is almost as good as the S-400. In your assessment, how significant is that? And where do you see this flexing of muscles going forward?
See, in a broader sense, there is no doubt that the Chinese have been investing very heavily in improving their capabilities in as far as the electronic warfare systems and all, undoubtedly so. But more specifically, since you raised this question about the SQ-9, I must clarify, SQ-9 is nothing else but, in a sense, re-engineered S-300 systems, which is a generation behind the S-400 that India has. And you also highlighted in your coverage the Akashteer system. So clearly the edge is there, and we have seen the edge now on demonstration on the night of 7th, 8th. So it is there. And now I would imagine that this edge has been demonstrated, and it should continue to sustain depending on how the operations pan out. And how things unfold into the future.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, General Saha, for joining us with that perspective there.